When did your childhood officially end? Growing up, we didn't have much. Mom worked double shifts at the diner, and I helped take care of my little sister Emma. Still, we found ways to be kids, building forts from blankets, having water balloon fights in summer. We made it work. I was 12 when Mom got sick, not the kind where you take medicine and get better, but the kind where doctors start using words like terminal and hospice. I nodded along in those sterile hospital rooms, pretending to understand. On Emma's 8th birthday, I used my savings to buy a cake. Mom was too weak to leave her bed, so we brought the celebration to her room. As Emma blew out her candles, I caught Mom watching me instead of her. There was something in her eyes I couldn't name then, pride mixed with a terrible sadness. That night, she called me to her bedside after Emma fell asleep. "I need you to promise me something," she whispered, her voice thin as tissue paper. "Promise you'll keep her birthday special every year." I nodded, throat tight. "And promise you won't let her forget me." She pressed her wedding ring into my palm, closing my fingers around it. A week later, I found Mom sitting at our kitchen table with papers spread everywhere. Bills, insurance forms, legal documents. Her hair had started falling out in clumps, and she'd stopped trying to hide it with scarves. "I need you to sign this," she said, sliding a document across the table. "It makes you Emma's guardian, not your father." I stared at the guardianship papers. Mom's tear fell onto the page as she offered me the pen. I signed my name in careful cursive, the way they taught us in 3rd grade. A 12-year-old signing away their childhood. Mom died 3 weeks later, and Emma still asks when she's coming home.
My boyfriend took credit for my dream coffee shop, so I exposed him in front of everyone. I spent 5 years saving every penny from my waitressing job. I lived in a tiny apartment, ate ramen noodles, and never bought new clothes. My dream was to open my own coffee shop. My boyfriend watched me work double shifts and skip vacations. He'd laugh when I'd count pennies or clip coupons, saying I was being too cheap, but I kept going. Finally, after all that work, I did it. I found the perfect spot downtown, got approved for a loan, and signed the lease. I was so happy I cried when I got the keys. Then came the grand opening party. My boyfriend stood up to make a speech, and my heart stopped. He started talking about his journey and how proud he was of his coffee shop. He even said opening a business was his childhood dream. I couldn't believe it. This was the same guy who told me I was wasting my time, who never helped with the planning, who slept in while I painted the walls myself. My hands were shaking, but I stood up. "Actually," I said, pointing to the walls, "I picked this color at 2 a.m. after my second shift. Remember? You said it was ugly." The room went silent. I pulled out my old notebook, the one with 5 years of savings tracked in my handwriting. "And here's every dollar I saved while you called me cheap." His face turned red. His mom looked down at her plate, and for the first time in 5 years, he had nothing to say. Now my coffee shop is doing great, and the best part, I serve my drinks with a side of self-respect.
What has your child's school done that got you so mad you went in and read the riot act to the teacher or principal? My daughter called from school saying she'd been suspended for fighting. She wouldn't say much, just that the principal gave her a 2-week suspension. I went home, grounded her, and took her phone. Then calls from other girls started rolling in. Turns out, a jock from a wealthy family had a habit of grabbing girls, and my daughter was one of his targets. She fought back, and he ended up in the ER. I ungrounded her, and she finally told me what happened. The next morning, I took her to school, and the principal stopped us at the door, saying she was suspended. I told him we were going to his office, unless he wanted to do this outside. In his office, I told him my daughter's suspension had to be lifted and that the boy had a choice: 30-day suspension with mental evaluation or felony charges. The principal called the boy's mom, who threatened to charge my daughter. I said, "Let the police sort it. Your son has a history, and I have witnesses." Then the principal dropped a bomb. "You don't want to mess with one of the finest families in the city." That's when I realized he was covering for the boy because he was connected to the family. I told him, "I don't make threats, I make promises. Someone needs to teach this kid that this behavior won't be tolerated before he winds up in prison." The boy got suspended, transferred, and my daughter's record was cleared. I caught my neighbor stealing boxes, so I filled one with crickets. She'd been taking them for months. My Ring camera caught her grabbing boxes after delivery, but police said they couldn't do anything without proof. They just told me to get a P.O. box. I was done being nice after she stole my mom's gift. I ordered 2 boxes. One had the real gift. The other, I went to the pet store and bought 100 crickets meant for feeding lizards. The guy asked if I had a big lizard. I just smiled. I put the real box in my backyard. The cricket box? Right on my front porch, wrapped with a fake designer logo. I added those fancy ribbons expensive stores use. Then I waited, watching my Ring camera like my favorite TV show. She took the bait in under an hour. I watched her speed walk to her house, that logo making her eyes light up. My camera caught the exact moment she opened it inside her garage. She probably thought she hit the jackpot, until that box exploded with crickets. The screaming started instantly. Her garage door flew open and she ran out dancing, crickets jumping everywhere. They got into her house through the open door. The best part? Crickets are impossible to catch, and they chirp all night long. She tried everything: bug spray, pest control, sonic devices. Nothing worked. The crickets found their home. The chirping drove her crazy for 2 weeks. She moved out after that. The new neighbors, sweetest family ever. They bring my boxes to my door. Sometimes karma comes with 6 legs and a loud chirp.
She called me mom by accident. I didn't correct her. I'd been her foster mom for 8 months. Angie was 12, withdrawn and cautious when she first arrived, her eyes constantly searching for the exit. She'd been through 4 homes in 3 years after her mother's overdose. Trust wasn't something she gave easily. We developed a routine. I helped with homework. She slowly shared stories from school. Small victories felt monumental. The first time she left her backpack unpacked, the night she fell asleep on the couch during movie night instead of retreating to her room. Then came the call. Her aunt had resurfaced, newly sober and ready to take custody. The system prioritizes blood relatives. The caseworker was sympathetic but firm. Angie would be moving in 2 weeks. I tried to be strong while helping her pack. We talked about how she'd have her own room at her aunt's place, how they'd make new memories together. But inside, I was breaking. 14 days left, then 7, then 3. On her final night with me, we sat at the kitchen table finishing her science project. She had barely spoken all evening, meticulously cutting paper for her poster board. "Can you pass the scissors, Mom?" she asked, not looking up. Then she froze, realizing what she'd said. I simply handed them over and continued helping, pretending not to notice how her shoulders relaxed when I didn't make a big deal of it. But later I cried silently in my bedroom, not because she was leaving, but because she finally felt safe.
I took my daughter to dance class, and the moms got me banned for being creepy until they learned the truth. When my wife deployed overseas, I became a full-time dad to our 4-year-old Emma. She begged to take ballet, so I signed her up at the local dance studio. The first day, I sat with other parents to watch. 2 moms moved their chairs away, others kept glancing and whispering. Even my sister-in-law pretended not to know me. I focused on Emma, twirling in her pink tutu, beaming with joy. After class, the studio owner pulled me aside. She said moms were uncomfortable with a man watching young girls dance and suggested I wait in my car. My sister-in-law stood behind her, nodding. I showed her a photo of Emma and me, then pulled up my wife's military service page. The owner's face turned red, but I wasn't done. I explained how my daughter cried for dance lessons for months, how I worked extra shifts to afford her tutu, how her mom video calls every week to hear about dance class. Then I asked my sister-in-law if she'd tell her deployed sister why Emma quit dancing. The next day, the studio posted new rules. All parents must be allowed to watch their children. Those uncomfortable could wait in their cars. 3 moms pulled their kids out, but 5 new families joined, including 2 other dads. My sister-in-law apologized and now sits with me during class. Now Emma has even more friends to dance with, and I get to watch every single twirl just like her mom would want.